It is time. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stand up. It's time for Christians to come together, to share their testimony, to inspire hope, and to join their brothers and sisters as we answer the call. Folks, it is time to wake up the lions. And I have an absolute lioness with me here today. She is an author, a filmmaker, a real estate developer, a designer, and a whole bunch of other stuff. She's the founder of the Love Foundation, which you're going to hear about today, and author of the book, The 21 Day Jumpstart Business Spiritual Roundup Blueprint. I may have just butchered the title of your book. And if I did, I want you to hold it up and we're going to talk about it again.
Okay.
All right. But Neisha Allen is with us today. Neisha, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. And how are you?
I thank you so much for having me, Roy. I am doing amazing.
Love that. Love that. She's been this way the entire time, folks. I mean, in the pre-interview, I mean, smiling, just happy and, beaming. I mean, it's really been amazing. Let's talk about the book real quick because I think I messed up the title. Show it to us one more time and let me make sure I get that title right. The 21 Day Jumpstart Business Blueprint Spiritual Roadmap. There we go. Got it right
That's
that
it.
time. Perfect. All right. All right. Now, I know we have a lot to unpack. We have a lot of things to talk about here, but, Nisha, go ahead and just give everybody kind of an idea. Who is Nisha Allen? What do you do? What are you about? And how'd you end up here talking to me?
I am a creator. I am a devout Christian. I'm a mother. I am a wife. I am a servant. And I am here to bring more, I guess, awareness to who I am and my story and my life, and just to share with the world all that I have to offer.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that leaves us all wide open. That leaves us a lot of ground to cover. So now I understand we talked about how you have a book, so we're definitely going to get back to how you're an author here. You are a real estate developer.
So with the real estate development,
Hmm.
part of my makeup, who God made me to be, is a creator. Um, Me and my husband, we've built two homes and sold them. When I look at land or houses or structure, I am just um excited about the foundational part of it, the blueprint, the rooms, the sizes, all of that. So I am going into a season where I am looking to do more development. I'm looking at developing a 3 unit townhome on some land. I love building. I love being on the site. I like seeing everything from the concrete poured, from the excavation, from the landscaping going in, what cabinet style to go in, the lighting, the flooring, all of that. I'm a creator by nature, and so a part of my spiritual journey is getting me back on the right path as to who God created me to be.
Nice. Nice. That's such a great answer. And that kind of encompasses the designer aspect of what you do, then I
Yes.
assume. All right. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Got it. So, I mean, this is from the ground up. I mean, you look at just a vacant piece of land and you're
Yes.
already envisioning everything.
Vacant land, vacant spaces, even if it's just a white box, I go in with regular graphing paper and I take something from here and I have to sketch everything out. I probably should have been an architect, but life took me in a different direction. But I actually start everything from paper, and then from that point, then I have to then transition that to an architect to actually take what I have in here to give me the full plans out and everything.
Nice. That's quite a gift. It really is. To be able to go from the
Thank
ground up
you.
like that, that's really awesome. That's awesome. All right. And then this one threw me a little. I had to do some research. I'm like, I saw filmmaker and I went, filmmaker? What? And so I started looking in your website. You really are. You're a filmmaker. Tell everybody about the films you've put together and what you've done here.
Um, it's so crazy. I started off as a kid. I was always in entertainment. A mentor of mine, he had his own TV show on the public access channel. I was on several shows on the public access channel as a kid. And a lot of times we don't understand that God is laying a groundwork for who we are going to be in the future, who we're called to be. And so, as we get into my story, God led me to Atlanta to get back on track. And since I've been down here, I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people who are gifted, who are anointed. And that's how I got to do these two films. And one of them, Waiting, done by Melina Cunningham, and also a fabulous director, Thelma Brown, is up for an award at the Bronze Lens Film Festival next week. And Nine Bolt, we are still in talks with a couple different investors for a full feature as well.
Wow. That's just amazing. And these areas that you're working in. I mean, they're diverse. I mean,
They're diverse, but you know what stands out to me, or what I like to tell people, is that even though they're very diverse, they all have two components that represent me: creativity, vision, and production and management. Whether you're building a house, you're building a film, or you're building a book, you still have to have all of those same components. You got to have the creativity, you got to have the vision, and then you have to have the management of everything.
yeah, nice. Nice. I can see the common threads, even though they're diverse. I can definitely see
Yes,
the threads
yes,
of Nisha through them all like
yes,
that. So, all right,
yes.
I'm starting to get this. All right, I'm starting to put this all together now. It's like a mystery you want to unravel. But now I know that we want to get to the book, but you got a very powerful story, and I've had the opportunity to hear a little bit of it, and just from reading a little bit about you and how you were raised, and kind of like where you came from. We actually have a lot in common in a lot of ways too. So a lot of your story really kind of hit me hard, and so I was really looking forward to hearing that from you because it sounds like you're using that story to help other people, which I love. And why don't you give everybody an idea, just kind of where you came from and what you've had to overcome?
I came from very humble beginnings. My parents had me senior year of high school. There were two young individuals um, who had a child at a very young age and were not equipped, which most children aren't, to actually parent. And my mother, she actually received a lot of ridicule, a lot of shame, outcasted because she had me at such a young age. And during those times, it was very different back then. Now, young people have children um, every day. So she went through a lot of things which caused her not to necessarily be there for me in a capacity that she may have wanted to be.
Hmm.
But even in that, God strategically put special people in my life to make sure that I was equipped and full spiritually to allow me to go on my journey. And one of those individuals was a gentleman by the name of Edwin Drake. He was a Caucasian individual, but he had the spirit of an angel. I grew up in a small town, Muskegon, Michigan, and we were, your regular hood, neighborhood, African American community. And he would diligently seek us out to incorporate a Christian lifestyle with us. He had a company that he worked for called Campus Life, and he would come to our school during lunch hour and recruit us. He had a van and he would come pick us up after school and bring us to campus life. And we would talk about different things that we will be facing as children. And he would just open up like an open discussion, like a round table discussion. What do you guys want to talk about? What are you guys dealing with? And then he would kind of bring that around and tell us how that relates to Christ and what that says in the Bible. And doing that, he, I guess he seen something in me that I didn't see at the time, and he really started to mentor me closer. He brought me in to be on the leadership board of the campus life division that we were meeting with, and I got to kind of choose the topics, who I thought that he should recruit to come to the meetings. And at the time, I didn't know how much impact that would be. I was just excited to get some donuts and some pizza on a Wednesday. So that really excited me. I'm like, we get to get some pizza and some donuts. I am excited. I'll be there. But he was really pouring into me. And then he also was a creative as well as a um, mentor. He had his own band and he played music and recorded music. And later on in my life, me and my husband, we've recorded music. And he also had a public access um, show that was on the public access channel. And he used to have me on to do a talk show called Straight Talk for teenagers. And just he just gravitated towards me, and he was like a real spiritual father without being, a pastor or somebody in the church. He was a real spiritual father. And now that I'm older, I look back on that and I see how important that was. And I've spoken to him. We've always kept in touch. And more so recently, I was able to get the revelation of him being so impactful in my life without me even being aware of it. I can remember him even taking me to church with him. And I'm just a young girl from the hood. I don't know, it's a certain protocol how you should dress at church. And I remember him telling me I came with some little red dress on, and he's like, oh boy, what are they going to think when we show up at church? Got this little black girl with this red dress on. What are they gonna think about this? But it was just so innocent because I
Right.
wasn't thinking from that aspect. I'm just thinking church. I need to put on a dress. And he was just so warm and welcoming. And he never had children of his own. But he was so impactful in so many lives. And I love him so much. His name is Ed Drake, and he's retired now, and he lives in uh, Arizona or Vegas, I believe. So yeah, so
Nice.
he was very instrumental in who I
Wow.
was, and God knew what I needed.
Sounds like he sent you a guardian angel.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Amen. I love that. I love that. You said that you recently had the revelation of kind of what he meant to you and that type of
Yeah.
thing. How'd that come to you, if you don't mind me asking?
We were on a phone call and we were just reminiscing and we were talking to one another. And then it dawned on me a lot of who I am is a direct reflection of who he was
Wow.
musically, with the discipleship, with the creativity with his own talk show. I'm producing shows. I'm running shows as production manager. He had all of these qualities in him, and me having a foundation, the Love Foundation. He worked for a Christian organization. I started the Love Foundation 12 years ago, and that was
Wow.
actually my second foundation. The first foundation I started was called Saving Sincerely, and I At the time, I wasn't aware that if you don't use or file your foundation every year that you lose it. And I wasn't doing anything with it, and so I never filed anything. But my first foundation that I had founded and was 501c3, it was called Saving Sincerely, because I wanted to save people sincerely from my heart, and so I called it Saving Sincerely. And I probably started that at the age of like 22, 23.
Nice. Nice. Okay, so the Love Foundation then is
Yes.
designed, I mean, from what I've seen of it, helping the homeless and children in need. Um, what is the Love Foundation designed to do for these folks?
The Love Foundation is designed to show the love of Christ in every situation, every circumstance, and every space that I'm able to enter in and occupy. Right now, our current initiative is we have been working with another organization called Make a Smile Foundation.
Okay.
And what we do is we provide food, resources, and a full service to the homeless downtown Atlanta. A full service. Downtown Atlanta is where the homeless kind of hang out. That's where they live at. So, Make a Smile Foundation, instead of having a church and telling homeless people they need to go to church, they need to get a word, they bring the church to the homeless people. They bring chairs, they bring tents. We have full praise and worship. We have
Oh,
a full sermon, altar call, prayer, resources, food, and toiletries. Sometimes we're able to give out sleeping bags, shoes, a smile and a hug. Sometimes people just need a smile and a hug and some encouragement when they're going through. So the Love Foundation has partnered with them, and that's what we've been currently doing. I also give to and as a part of Change Church with Pastor Darius Daniels, and we just did a back to school change mart, and he opened up the church to the backpacks and all of the school supplies that the children needs. And so I give to the church and those initiatives through the foundation so that we can make a larger impact. That really hit home for me because I know as a child, it's one thing to give a child the things that they need for school. I need a backpack, I need paper. These are the things I need, but what about the seed? So with him providing the shoes, that's something that I'm very passionate about, is shoes and clothes for young individuals. I've spoken and giving to kids at orphanages and at the homeless shelter. I've picked up and take them shopping. And so I'm very passionate about the seed that's planted in them. Because if you can give a child a new pair of shoes or a new outfit, that gives them a new outlook on who they are and what they can become. Because a lot of times, because of their circumstances, because I know this firsthand, growing up in a impoverished area, and being born to teenage parents, I know that kids can be very cruel, and they can pick on you, they can talk about you based on what you can't even control.
yeah.
So those seeds are very dear to my heart, when you can really plant that seed to have a child have more confidence about who they are and whose they are.
That's incredibly perceptive, and you can tell that it's coming from the heart and that it's something that you've had to deal with because people who have never had to worry about how their shoes look or if they fit, I'm not sure they get that. I'm not sure they can identify with what you're saying there. But I can for sure, and I understand it, and I think it's awesome that you're doing what you're doing. The Clearly you're leading with a servant's heart here, and doing what you do. The now, and I get the seeds, so to speak, of where that comes from with your own upbringing. Is that
Yes.
something that Ed then kind of fostered in you and put you on the path towards that servitude?
I think he did subconsciously.
Hmm.
He never like spoke to me about it. It never was a anything that was on the panel for us to discuss. But subconsciously, he poured that into me just by him having the compassion for us.
Hmm.
And like you said, some people don't really understand what it is not to have. So that they can't really relate. So, but when you grow up in a impoverished situation, you really truly understand what that feels like when you don't have. And by the grace of God, because I did have love in my life from my grandparents, they loved on me so much. They lived in a different city than me, but because of their love, I was able to not go into maybe drugs or alcohol because of the situation that I was born into that I had no control over. And so I thank God for their love. I thank God for everybody that was instrumental in my upbringing that kind of helped shape me and give me um, some examples to live after because of them. And I think a lot of times the enemy might want to attack people's mind and their perception based on things that they have no control of. But I think God is always present if we look and if we really pay attention. He's always placing people in our life to give us what we need at that time. And a lot of times the enemy comes and attacks that and make you think of your cup as half empty and not half full.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I love the way you just put that. We will come back to talking about what the enemy does to all of us here in just a moment. I want to make sure that we cover your book, and apparently you and your husband also have a song that you have out there.
Yes.
So tell
Yes.
me about the
We
song,
have
and
a
then let's talk about the book.
Okay, okay. Me and my husband, we're both creatives. That's one of the things that we really enjoy with one another is music. Growing up, I used to be in talent shows. I used to sing and dance and act, and so music is like the common thread for us. And so we have a rap song. It's called like a Christian rap song called "Walking in the Mega" without a G. Walking in the Mega, and it just talks about walking in God's favor, his love, and his abundance. And it's just an inspirational song for anybody who's going through to understand that God will see you through. And it's a fun song, it's energetic, it's out on all streaming platforms. So if you want to walk in your mega season, go ahead and listen it, download it, and get it in your spirit.
Beautiful. I love that you're just creating stuff everywhere. It's just fantastic. Um, and so
Thank you.
so tell me about the book and where the book came from.
Oh boy, the book.
Hmm.
The book. God gave me the book in 2019. But it was in a season of my life where God's voice was very, very low and the world was very loud. And so during that season of my life, I did not take the time out to write it. So fast forward in this season of my life where I am more tuned in and where God's voice is louder than the outside world and other voices. And I'm able to know what it is to be obedient. And God wanted me to use my knowledge, use my experiences to put this book out to give people not only practices and a blueprint to follow to build your business in the natural, but also in the spiritual. Because a lot of times we're building things with not without thinking about the real foundation, which is Christ. And so it takes you on a 21-day journey to build your business. And every day of the 21 days, there is a biblical scripture and a foundation for you to stand on, as well as practices to follow. The first chapter in the book is called Seek Ye First. And I found myself in a season where I looked up, and that was the first thing that I was missing because I had the knowledge and the wherewithal to start a business, but I wasn't doing the business that God wanted me to do. And the first thing that you need to do is seek Him and make sure you're doing the right business, because you can do any business, but is it the business that He wants you to do? So the first chapter is seek ye first, and that's the main part of the foundation. To me, that is like the pouring the cement. It's what everything else will stand on. And if you miss that chapter, or you miss that part in your foundation of your business journey, then it can cause a lot of problems later on down the line because you're not in alignment with God's will.
Nice. I love that. Absolutely love it. The significance of 21 days.
So initially, when I started for 30 days.
Okay.
God said, no, do 21 days. I think with the 21 days, um, it is a number that is divisible by seven.
Hmm.
Seven is the number of completion. And for readers, when you think about it, oh, I can do 21 days. When you think about 30 days, you're like, oh, can I do 30 days? But when you think about 21, oh, I can do 21. So I think God told me to use 21 because that it is divisible by seven and is more attracted to the reader and to the people who need to read the book.
Fair enough. Great answer. I love that. All right. That's awesome. The no, I love that with the scripture and all that in the book.
Mhm.
Uh, it sounds as though you're in a way building discipleship through the book.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
It's a good way to um I like to I like to minister or build disciples subtly. Because a lot of times when you're just loud or in people's face, it's not easy for them to receive or open up or be willing to understand. But if you can do it in a subtle way, okay, I need to build a business. So part of the book is everything you need to do to build a business. Like one of the chapters is talking about write the vision, make it plain. Not only are you writing the vision, make it plain according to the Bible, but I also have a full business plan in there for you to follow. I'm not telling you to write a business plan. I'm giving you spaces to write your business plan in, and I'm giving you examples to follow so you know what to write in those spaces. So a lot of times people are told, oh, you need a business plan. Oh, you need a business plan. And then people want to charge a lot of money. And then a lot of times people give up because they're like, I don't know how to write a business plan. I just have this idea that I want to get out. And they're telling me I need a business plan. Where do I start? So, this gives you everything that you need. And once you're done with it, you also have incorporated a different aspect of your business that a lot of people don't incorporate. I know I didn't. I've started several businesses. You pray and you're like, oh Lord, cover my business, but are you doing it every day?
Yeah. Again, that's that's fantastic. The book itself, when you were writing the book,
Mhm.
who were you writing the book to?
I was writing it to individuals who wanted to either restart a business because they may have started the wrong businesses and they may have not turned out like they thought they would do or expected. Me myself, what I found out about myself is I started businesses based on suggestions from other people. You should do this, or this is lucrative. And a lot of times we follow other people or dollar signs, and we should just be following Christ.
Absolutely. 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 All right. I love that. The blueprint then, I mean, with the inclusion of the Bible verse and so on, you would think on its outset that it's for Christian business owners.
It's
And
for Christian business owners, or it's really for anyone. Because a lot of
yeah,
times people put it's just like our song may be a Christian rap song, but it's for anyone.
sure.
So whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, you can still pick up the book, you can still use biblical principles, and you can still incorporate that in your business, and it may convert you over to a Christian once you've started this journey.
Pretty slick. I like that. That's right. If you're not of the faith, you might be after 21 days
You
of
might be.
trying it out, trying it on for size and seeing how it
Yeah,
fits. Very,
yeah.
very nice. I like the way you did that. All right. Very cool. We said we were going to get back to the enemy part of this and how
Okay.
the enemy kind of comes after us all. And one of the things that we do talk about on this podcast frequently is spiritual warfare and the different ways that it kind of manifests itself and how,
Yeah.
it shows up in our lives. You are unabashedly, about your faith. I mean, you wear it right there in your sleeve. You tell everybody. You wrote a book about it. The whole nine yards. Um, have you encountered that kind of thing? If so, what have you done about it? If not, have you seen anybody else?
I've battled with spiritual warfare really all my life.
Wow.
Um, just even if you look back at the way I was born, that was warfare. With the enemy attacking my mother because she had me at such a young age. But even in having me at such a young age, um, God blessed me where I was in magnet schools as a child. I was very very smart. I was even offered to move upgrades,
Hmm.
and in all of that, instead of my mom kind of leaning into the blessing or the gift, the enemy came after her mind, which caused her to um, not be as present as she might have wanted to be. And so my whole life has been a spiritual warfare. Um, Even so, more so recently, a friend of mine, she started to promote the book. And with her promoting my book and she starting a journey, she's opening up a business herself. And she's like, ever since I started your book and announced that I'm going to go on this 21-day journey, I have been under attack.
Wow.
So, what I have learned is that the enemy only attacks what he doesn't want to get out. So when you're under attack, that means that you're on the right track. So whatever you're going through, go through it. Because the enemy wants to stop you in your tracks. Because if you were to get on the other side of that thing, you're going to be amazing. You're going to have a testimony that's going to pull other people up. So when you're going through, and what I have learned when going through spiritual warfare, you got to attack it in the spirit, because it's spiritual warfare. It's not natural warfare, it's
Right.
spiritual warfare. So that's when you got to go in prayer. You have to fast. Even in my book, I incorporate fasting. Some of the days in the 21-day journey is just fasting, praying, and worshiping for 3 days straight. That's so that you can hear clearly about your business, about the direction, and so that you can have some wisdom and some insight and some discernment, because you're going to need that when operating a business. So, spiritual warfare. A lot of people look at it as a bad thing, but it's a good thing if you can press through and know how to fight and know that it's spiritual and it's not natural.
I love that. I have a very similar theory on that, and that is that if you're not encountering any spiritual warfare, then you're not a threat.
You're not a threat.
Yeah. And I've heard that a lot from folks where it's like, well, this person, I mean, they're not even a good person over here, and they got such an easy life, and it's like the the devil's making sure it's easy for them because he doesn't
Right,
want them to change direction.
right,
You stay on that couch.
right,
Don't worry about it.
right.
Let me make your life easy. You got Nisha over here who's making waves. I got to put some obstacles in her path and try to slow her down because she's a problem now.
Right. You preaching.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I've always believed that, and ever since I kind of came to terms with that, I've seen nothing but that in my life and everyone else's.
Yeah.
So yeah, to hear with what you have going on that
Yeah.
you're encountering, that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me at all. So
Yes.
my
Yes.
goodness,
Yes.
wow, you have a lot going on over here, and I love this. I love the way you're so open about your faith. Have you always been that way, or is this something that you've come into as you've gotten older and gotten closer to God?
I have to people who have been kind of close to me in my circle and my family, my
Mhm.
close friends, but more so recently, God has been dealing with me with being obedient and making me speak and making me just be more open to sharing, because I was the kind of person who would like hide, or you wouldn't know that I'd be praying for you, but I would be praying for you in silent. But God wanted me to let his light be seen even more. He wanted people to know that I am a vessel that is being used to glorify him and to just encourage people. Um, because I think because of my upbringing, like I was saying, I was kind of smart, and I got teased a lot because of that. And I think that kind of started my journey of being a little more introverted, um, because I knew if you're in the spotlight or you're getting a lot of recognition and people are noticing you, then there's the warfare, there's the
Yeah,
warfare. And so in my journey as I've become older, and God's been using me to be more bolder, um, I had attended a women's networking event. It was called Mother Hustler. I ended up going on a 24-hour notice, and it was very liberating for me. Um, we had it was about 75 women in there. And usually when I'm at these events, I may talk to a couple people, but I never speak. And so a woman had kind of shared her story about being her cup being empty and just being too overwhelmed. Oh, excuse me. And so that really hit home for me. And the speaker, she kind of chimed in a little bit, and then she opened the floor. Does anyone else have anything else to say? Usually I would just be saying it in my head, but that day the Lord pushed me to speak. And so I spoken to her, and I told her I understood what it's like to have your cup empty. And my cup was not only empty, my cup was broken. And then the straws that were in my cup that were sucking everything out, they were used to everything being in there. So they're still poking and trying to suck, which broke my cup. So I didn't even have anything for God to pour in. And so I shared my testimony with her. And so, part two of the event, we had to write on sticky notes what we thought about individuals without knowing them, and we had to put something positive on there and give to them. And they gave us, I think, three sticky notes apiece. And so, out of all the women in there, because I spoke, I got about 20 different sticky notes. and what God was showing. And people were coming up to me saying, "Thank you for sharing your testimony. It blessed me. I want to connect with you." And God was like, "I'm trying to use you. I need for you to be more bold. I need for you to share more." And so, part one of the event, she was talking about giving yourself permission to do something. And ironically, my thing was permission to share more. And so it was a full experience for me. And so I've been working more diligently and sharing more. And that's how I ended up on your podcast.
Well, I love that. What made you decide to start go guesting on podcasts? Because this is fairly new for you, right?
Fairly new for me.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to have a platform where people got to know more about me. Like I said, I'm just entering into a season of my life where I'm being more bold and more vocal and
Yeah.
sharing who I am. Because I meet people all the time, and a lot of times you don't really have time to, sit down for, 2 hours or where have you, and really share who you are as an individual. So this is like a catalog that can be built up about who I am, what I have to offer, talk about my faith, my family, my testimony to bless others. I'm a servant at heart, so any place where I can serve, I love serving and uplifting people. So I am excited about this journey of being on podcasts. And a lady kind of introduced a platform for me, and from there I just kind of said, okay, I'm gonna go right for it. I'm gonna push myself more. I'm gonna be more obedient. I did the podcast that you watched.
Hmm.
That was one of my church friends. She is the leader of our group, our women's group, and she invited me to come on her podcast. And I was surprised. That was the first podcast that I had been a guest on. And I was just surprised that she thought I had enough in me or enough about me to have her on her platform to give my testimony and share who I was as an individual. So I was honored and I was surprised and I was thrilled, and I thank her. Her name is Kiana, and I really thank her so much.
Yeah, she did a great job with that podcast, but so did you. And
Oh, thank
you were
you.
saying this is my first time doing this, and I was like, get out of town, really? Because you seemed
Yes.
like you were an old pro at it. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
yeah,
much. I enjoyed it.
yeah. Well, I think you have the most important thing about guesting on a podcast is speaking from the heart, and
Mhm.
I think you kind of have that part down. So every everything coming from you is definitely authentic and real, and is it's just very real, and you can
Thank
tell.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
I'm so passionate about,
yeah,
certain things that are close to me. Like I'm real passionate about my faith, my family,
yeah.
my projects. I'm so passionate about people in my life. Um, I'm real passionate now. If you want to talk about football, it'll be flat.
Not this. That's a different podcast. That's not this one.
Yes,
It's not this podcast.
yes.
We got you covered on this podcast. So, all right. I appreciate the honesty, though. See, there you go. More honesty. Yeah. Don't bring up football. I got it. I love what you're doing, and I love the way that you're doing it. As we kind of bring this to a close, because you've shared so much about everything that's going on in your life. I'm curious if you have a excuse me, an end game, in mind. I mean, are you trying to get on stages and
I would
talk to
love
folks?
to. Yes.
I wondered.
I would love to get on stage, share my testimony, and just help people on a larger scale. Um, Pour into them, love on them, be more of a spiritual mentor. A friend of mine, when she was assisting me with my book, shout out to Shell Purcell. She's a phenomenal actress, director, writer. She called me the spiritual roadmap pilot. And when I think about a pilot, I think about who I am as an individual and who I would like to be for others. I would like to help people get to their next destination or help them fly above things. And so I would love to be a pilot in the kingdom for individuals. I would love to speak and encourage men as well as women. I'm the type of person, I am for women, but I'm for everyone. I'm for men, women, and children. I'm for elderly. I'm just for the people. And so I am excited about how God is just navigating my path and directing it because this is all Him. Like I said, I did the book out of obedience. It wasn't because I said I wanted to always be a writer or I wanted to speak. I would
Hmm.
rather be the person in the background directing or producing or managing or production. I would rather be in the back. But God says, I have something in you that I want to use. And so I have to be obedient in this season.
Nice. I thought I was kind of picking that up. So, all
Yes,
right,
yes.
we're gonna have to talk about that more when we get off here. But
Okay, okay.
I can absolutely see you doing what you're doing on a stage and spreading the word
I
100%.
give God
So,
glory for that.
amen. That's beautiful. Any parting words or maybe advice for anybody who's out there who's going through some of the things that maybe you went through? Maybe they're battling kind of a tough upbringing. Maybe they're trying to find their way, to their faith. Any thoughts or maybe a piece of advice as we kind of close out?
Um, I would say what comes to mind is even the first scripture that I have for the first chapter in my book. Seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. A lot of times when we're going through things, we're seeking a lot of other people, and we're not seeking him. I promise you, if you just pause and take some time out and to talk to God, you don't have to talk to him in any certain type of way, any certain type of format. He knows who you are. He just needs for you to open up your mouth and communicate with him. So, whatever you're going through, whatever season you are in, seek him and everything will be added onto you. Not some things, not a little thing, not one thing, but everything. He is the source, He is the provider, and He is all that you need.
Amen, Nisha. I absolutely love it. Thank you.
Amen.
Perfect. Beautiful way to close this out. And I tell you what, folks, author, filmmaker, real estate developer, designer, founder of the Love Foundation, singer in the Walking in the Mega, and everything else. Nisha Allen, thank you so much for coming on here, for sharing all of this with everybody,
Thanks for
and
having
doing what you
me.
do. It's been amazing. Been amazing. All right.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
yeah, you got it. Folks, I'm telling you, it is time. It's time to wake up the lions. More than that, though, it's time for you to take your rightful place with your brothers and your sisters and let them hear you roar. Folks, the world is ready. You're ready. At some point, you just have to believe it.